All right, let's just jump right in with a pretty wild question. What if the most powerful things that organize our entire world, the money in your bank account, the country you live in, even the idea of human rights, what if they're all just stories? Powerful stories that we've all just agreed to believe. That's the radical idea from historian Yuval Noah Harari that we're going to unpack today.
So, what's our secret sauce as a species? I mean, it's not our claws or our muscles, right? It's this idea of the shared myth. It's a story we all agree to believe in, even though it's not physically real. Think about it. You can't actually touch Google, or the United States, or a dollar bill's value. They only exist because millions of us imagine them into existence together. And that ability, the ability to get billions of strangers to work together based on a common story, that right there is humanity's superpower. Okay, so where in the world did we get this superpower? Well, to answer that, our story has to start with the very first great leap forward for Homo sapiens. You can basically map out our entire history with three massive turning points. And yeah, the agricultural and scientific revolutions completely changed the game, but it all really kicked off about 70,000 years ago with the cognitive revolution. This was like the fundamental hardware upgrade that made everything else even possible.
So, what exactly was this upgrade? Well, our brains evolved to use incredibly complex language, but this wasn't just for, gossiping or boring your buddy about a lion. The crucial part, the real game changer, was that we gained the power to talk about things that don't actually exist. We started inventing gods, creating laws, building enormous social systems, and all of it was based on fictions, on stories we collectively decided were real. We literally became the planet's storytellers. For thousands and thousands of years, we lived as hunter-gatherers. And then, we made a change so big that we usually call it the dawn of civilization. But Harari, he gives it a very different name, and it's one that might just surprise you.
That's right, a trap. The story we're always told is that farming was this incredible leap forward for humanity. But the argument here is that for the average person, it was a total disaster. We didn't really domesticate wheat. In a strange way, wheat domesticated us. And the trade-off was just stark. Hunter-gatherers, they ate a wider variety of food, they actually worked fewer hours, and they had way more freedom to move around. Farmers, on the other hand, were chained to a tiny plot of land, working from sunrise to sunset. This new way of life is what led to rigid social classes, deep inequality, and just harder, less healthy lives for most people. Yeah, we could support bigger populations, but individual well-being, it just plummeted. All right, let's fast forward, way forward, to about 500 years ago. This is the revolution that created the world we live in today. We started cracking the secrets of the universe, and in the process, we gained powers our ancestors would have thought were literally godlike. But this created a massive, fundamental paradox. See, this wasn't just about learning new things. It was a revolution in pure, raw power. It kicked off this incredible feedback loop. New discoveries led to new powers, which then funded more discoveries, and the speed of human change just went into overdrive. And here's the engine that was driving the whole thing. First, you have science, creating all this amazing new tech and unbelievable power. Then you have capitalism, pouring money into research and exploration, all based on a bet for future profits. And finally, you had empires, using that science and money to expand across the entire globe. Science, money, and power, they became this unstoppable trio. But here's the real kicker. After all this so-called progress, all this power, all this wealth, are we actually any better off? Harari's answer is a deeply unsettling, maybe not. And this quote really gets to the heart of the problem with our modern story of progress. And you can see that paradox right here. Our collective power as a species has absolutely skyrocketed. I mean, we can fly through the air, talk to anyone on Earth in an instant. We can even split the atom. But our individual happiness, has it kept up? All the evidence suggests not really. We gain the power of gods, but we don't seem to feel any better for it. And our relentless pursuit of power has come at a terrifying price. Not just for us, but for the entire planet. We've caused unimaginable suffering to billions of animals, and we've destroyed entire ecosystems on a scale that's never been seen before. Our godlike power has been used with very little wisdom and even less compassion. So all of this brings us to right now, to this very moment.
standing on the edge of what might be the final revolution, the one that could completely change the definition of what it even means to be human. For 70,000 years, the story of Sapiens has been all about us changing the world outside of ourselves. Our environment, our societies. But the next chapter, it's about turning all that power inward. For the first time in history, we're starting to reshape our own bodies and minds.
And look, this isn't science fiction anymore. It is happening right now. We're developing the power to edit our own genes, to connect our brains to computers, and maybe even to finally defeat death. We are literally hacking the code of life itself.
The two main tools driving this incredible shift are artificial intelligence and biotechnology. And together, they represent a power so profound, it could truly mean the end of history as we know it, and maybe even the end of humanity as we know it. And so, we end with the ultimate question our entire history has been building towards. After 70,000 years of creating myths and reshaping the world, will our final act be to rewrite ourselves into something new? Something post-human? Are the stories that made us the masters of this planet about to write us out of existence? That's the question we're all left to answer.